Hello, CLE peeps. So today we are going to create our resume on myBlueprint. So once you've logged into your account, you're going to come over to the left-hand tab, go to Work, and here we're going to hit Resume. It's going to bring you to this page, and you're going to say Create a Resume. Going to give it a title. Mine is going to be called Resume, and I'm going to say the month and the year that I'm creating it. And it's going to bring me to a template. So myBlueprint does a really beautiful job of doing a fill in the blank resume, and then it creates it for you. And you can export it as a Word document or a Google Doc or print it as a PDF in a few different styles. So just like in the video, hopefully everybody has watched the video about what a resume is and completed the Google quiz. So we're kind of familiar with what a resume is and what it generally looks like. Here are the different sections that myBlueprint provides some fill in the blanks for. So you can switch the order of these if you'd like, but I'm going to keep it pretty simple for right now. And I'm going to start with filling in my contact information. So that's going to be over here in the top right hand. I'm going to say edit. Going to bring in this little pop-up and I'm going to fill it in with my info. I'll be right back. So there we have it. We're going to just put that right in there and then we're going to say save. And, phone number's wrong. That's okay. Save. And it's going to put it right in there for me. I'm going to come down to objective next. This is a trickier one for a lot of people. I'm going to say add objective. And really what we want to state is just a little bit about yourself, one or two sentences, and what your goal is with this resume. So obviously it's to get a job and to make money, but we need to say that in a professional way. I'm kind of struggling with how to phrase that professionally, so I'm going to hit this need help tab. This need help pops up on every section of the resume and can be really helpful if you're feeling stuck on that particular section of your resume. So here it's going to give me a little about me. Okay, so that's an example of what you want to have. So I'm actually just going to copy this. And I'm going to come back here. I'm going to say add my objective. I'm just going to paste it right in there. But obviously doing this would be super lame because it's not personalized to me. And it is a little kind of, a little bit like lying, which you definitely don't want to do on your resume. So I'm going to go in through this and just personalize this to my own experience, my own skills, my own goal, just changing a few words around, but I really like how this sounds and looks. So that's why I copied and pasted it. So I'll be right back. Just going to change it a little bit to match me. Okay, so here we go, just with strong social skills, high academic achievement, and a passion for teamwork. I am seeking part-time employment, so that's my objective, at a company that engages its employees. So yeah, a little bit about myself and then, what I want to do. I'm going to save. And I'm going to come down to education here. So many of us are in the same position. We're in grade 10 at Lambert Park Secondary. I'm going to put that in here. Just a note too, to be really careful with your capitalization of letters on proper nouns. I'm going to say I'm in grade 10. I'm going to say that I am working on my grade 12 graduation. I'm just going to put in this information and be right back. So there we go. I'm working on my grade 12 graduation and I'm leaving it blank here for end date. I'm saying that I started in grade 9 in September 2021 or whenever you started, of course. And I'm leaving this blank because I am a current student, so I haven't ended my time yet at Lambert. And of course, we're in Victoria, British Columbia. Save that. Now here's our work experience. I know that lots of us don't yet have work experience. If that's the case for you, you can just skip this and go right down to extracurriculars, not a problem. If you do have any work experience, and that includes things like babysitting, a paper route, anything where you were paid, maybe you did a little bit of coaching during the summer, or you've worked at the stables if you're into horses, you can include that here. Make sure that it was paid work because there's a separate section for volunteer work. So here I'm going to say what my job title was. Let's say that I was a cashier at Save On Foods. When I started, when I ended, if I'm still working there, I'm just going to say, I'm going to leave it blank to keep it current, and what city and province it was in. So I'm going to say that I don't have any work experience at this time. And I'm going to come down to extracurriculars. So this is anything that you do outside of your typical A block, B block, C block, or D block. Any activities at lunch, any activities after school, whether they're at Lambrick or outside Lambrick, can be included. So I'm going to do that and be right back. So here I've added that I'm on the field hockey team, and I'm also going to add that I'm in junior band. And you might want to include a little description here. So maybe what instrument you played or what your specific roles are in that extracurricular activity. For the field hockey team, I said that I attended regular practice and games and was always trying to improve my athletic skill. And if you're in quite a few extracurricular activities, you can list all of them here. Gives great insight into the kind of person you are. So I know that a lot of us are working on attaining volunteer experience this year. That was a goal that a lot of you had in your myBlueprint goal setting from a few weeks ago. Let's say that you already have some or you're currently doing some. We can name what that was, what your organization was, and the number of hours. Remember, we're leaving that blank if it's current, if you're still doing it. So here I've said that I'm a volunteer soccer coach. So far I've volunteered for 5 hours, and it's going to bring me down to skills and abilities. So this is another kind of a tough section for people because you're really being asked to describe yourself, which can be very challenging. But here we can actually look, not only do we have a little need help tab if we're feeling stuck, but we also have some samples, which I absolutely love. You can go down here and we can actually just add in the ones that fit with our personality and our skill sets so far. So let's say that you already have a job or you've had one where you've handled cash. You can say add. I don't have that yet, so I'm not going to put that in. Even though this looks like you could just go through bam, 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 and add them in, you want to be really mindful that they are reflective of yourself and your personality and your skill set. You do not want to be telling any kind of lies on this resume. That'll just get you into trouble. So I'm going to go through and add about 5, and I'll be right back. All right, so that brings us to achievements. So if you've won any kind of award, I'm going to say that I have won my Lion Award from June of last year. And I'm just going to add in what that was. So that was participation on 3 athletic teams. And I'm just going to go ahead and say save. I'm also going to say that I am registered for my food safe certification. I haven't yet taken it, so I'm going to say that it's in progress. So this is if you're signed up to do anything, let's say over the winter break or coming up in a few weeks, you can put in progress just to let the potential employer know that you have this, but you don't quite have the certification yet, but you're working on it. So I'm going to say that December is when I am going to be doing this training. I'm going to put in here. Oops. If you have any certifications from any kind of software course, computer course, small engine repair, anything that you've done probably outside of school, you can include that here. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'll probably, when I do get my food safe, I'll probably move that certification into this section. and hobbies and interests. So this is a really great section. Let's say that your resume isn't super lengthy at this time, but you want to let your employer know about some of your hobbies and your interests personally. We can list them here. So I'm going to say I'm really into computer programming. I love art, so I'm into painting and drawing, and I'm also really into digital media design. And you can always click this little need help button for some suggestions, or ask your friends and family, what am I kind of into that's not something that's organized that I could put like I'm part of a team or I'm part of choir, but I want to let a future job know a little bit more about me. This is a really nice section to add that into. So there we go. And references. So these are people, adults, not your friends, not your family, but people in your life who are community members that can speak highly of you and who could speak to some of the items that are going to be on your resume. So speak to your character, speak to your skills and ability, really talk about a time when you were a team member or you really demonstrated that goal orientation. So I'm going to list a few people here, and I'll be right back. So now that we have all of these sections filled out, just wanted to remind you guys, you can switch the order here if you want to, and you can also edit the titles of the sections. So let's say I wanted to put my certifications and my achievements in the same section. I could do that by hitting this little pencil and editing that section. I'm not going to do that right now, but that is an option for those of you who would like yours to look a little bit different. I'm going to go down here to the bottom right corner and hit Preview Resume. And this is my opportunity to do that super important proofreading. So I'm going to really go through it. I'm going to make sure that all the proper nouns are capitalized. I'm going to make sure that I've been consistent. So you can see here I've written BC, but then I know down here I wrote Victoria, British Columbia. It's a really super small detail, but you want to be as consistent as possible on a resume. It just helps you look super professional. But overall, I'm super happy with how myBlueprint has oriented this into a traditional resume. I really pretty happy with how this looks. It's nice and traditional. It's clear. It's got my references down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to export this. And I'm going to export this as a Word document, and then I can convert it to a Google Doc and save it to my drive if I want to. I could also download it as a PDF and just print it and start handing it out if I'm interested in getting a job. Or if I would like one of my friends or family members or teachers to do a quick proofread of it for me. The other thing that I'm going to remind you guys to do is to add it to your portfolio. So this is part of the assignment. I'm going to add it to my portfolio that I created a few weeks ago as part of CLE-10. There we go. And I'm also going to export this as a PDF. I'm going to download it, and I'm going to attach it to this assignment on the CLE Google Classroom. I need to make sure that I do that so that I get the full marks for this assignment. Download it as a PDF and attach it to the Google Classroom. Don't forget to do that super important step. That brings us to the very end. Oh, one more thing. If I'm not super happy with this design, I can go to change the design, and it's going to bring me the classic, the clean, and the traditional. So let's say I want to just check out what clean looks like. Oh yeah, I kind of like that a little bit better. That's what I'm going to use to hand out to potential places of employment. Just a note though, you can only export it as a you can only export it as a Word document if you are in the basic design. So you can export this as a PDF and as text, but you need to be in the basic design up here in order to get that Word document, which you can then convert into a Google Doc. So just a little note if you're looking to convert this into a Word document or Google Docs, super important. All right, my apologies for being a little bit long on this. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment on the Google Classroom or come and see me or drop me an email. Happy to help you guys however I can. Thanks and good luck with